Good evening. So I'm here after I've had my dinner. My kitchen is closed almost, but I thought that I would show you how to make what we've been talking about, this golden milk recipe. And so I actually have some made here, so I'm not going to make it with you, but the ingredients are turmeric and ginger, cinnamon, and cardamom. And someone asked me, we talk a lot about ginger and turmeric and getting the root, but that's not really essential to have the root for this. The powders are good. When I make a batch, I make a bunch in a container like this, again, because I try to share it with others. If it's for myself, I do it in a jar, and mix it all up, and then I save it. This is what I take from, and we'll do that a little bit later. So anyway, turmeric, ginger, cardamom, cinnamon, cardamom, salt, and some ground pepper, because the ground pepper actually makes the turmeric more bioavailable, more available to do the work that it needs to do. And so those are the dry ingredients that get mixed together. And you can do this in a milk, cow's milk or goat's milk, and a dairy. But this time of year, cow's milk isn't really the highest, recommended milk. So goat's milk is fine, or almond milk or coconut milk. And I'm gonna make some almond milk with you. So what I've got here is 2/3 cups of almonds that I soaked for 12 hours or so. Actually, it was a little longer. And I'm going to blend them up. It's going to be kind of noisy for a little bit. I'm going to blend them up right here in I have a Vitamix, but you can do it in any kind of blender. So I usually start it off 2/3 cups of soaked nuts, and then I add a cup of water, and then the other 3 cups of water can go in for the final blending. There we go. Blend away. So I like to make my own milks. Get up a little bit closer. I like to make my own milks because, number one, cost, but also some of the milks that you buy in the store in the boxes, they may have other additives like guar gum to thicken them, or preservatives. And so I just like it like pure almonds and water. And I sometimes, if I feel like I'm going to have some to drink or put in with a little porridge or something, I don't know, I might add a little vanilla. Generally I don't, but it makes it taste really yummy. And then you can also add honey to your milk after it's all mixed up and drained. You've got to drain out the nut material. After that happens, you can also add some sweetener to it. And anyway, none of that is essential, but it can make it taste a little bit better. So here you've got nuts, almonds mixed up with the water, and then you want to strain out the, I guess I'll say fibrous material. We know that fiber is really good for you, but the skins on almonds are often taken off when I soak my nuts, which I do all the time, just to make them more digestible. I take the skins off, and there's some, I think it's, I never get this always right, but enzyme inhibitors in the skins of the nuts and in some of the other foods that we're soaking. So I just basically pour it in a nut bag, and I'm going to show you that in a minute, and I should have done that first, and I hang it. I find, like, where can I hang it from? I've got two places, and depending on what spot in my kitchen is cleanest, can see I've got a small kitchen. I hang it and I let the solids kind of hold up in the bag. It's a mesh bag, and I let the milk drain through. So then, like, here's an example of a nut bag. It looks like something you might wash your stockings in a washing machine. Tiny, tiny holes. And then some people use material inside, and I used to save it and try to make crackers out of it. I actually don't do that anymore. I try to squeeze out as much as I possibly can. So right there, I've got some almond milk. I love to make coconut milk. It's so creamy and so easy to make, and that's just done with boiling water and coconut in a blender, and then you just blend it all up and let it sit a little bit so that the coconut seeps into the water, and then you do the same thing. You strain that, and it's just so easy and so delicious, and better than, I still buy cans for emergency. We just used one the other night because I didn't make it in time, but anyway, it's easy. You can make any nut milk on your own or seed milk on your own. I get these from the co-op, so if anybody's ever looking for one, I'm happy to kind of put those in my shop, and just pass them along to you at cost if anyone feels like they want to get into making their own milks. So what I'm going to do right now, since I have that, is I'm going to do something a little bit weird. I'm going to pour out. I like a cup of milk is what is recommended for making a golden milk. I like to half it with water, just because it seems like, just for me, in the middle of the night, sometimes, my mouth feels like, oh, it's just, I had something that's staying with me through the night. So I'm just going to put this on and heat that up, not to boiling, but just to get it warm. And what I'll do when it's done is I'll just add 1.5 teaspoons of my powder, and I'll mix it in with either a whisk it like that, or I have a nifty battery powered, take my cup. I'm not going to have you wait because we got to finish the video, and I would put the milk in there, add my turmeric powder, my golden milk powder, and then just get it all mixed up nicely. Sometimes I add a little bit of honey to it if it's not so super hot. And in the powder I make, the golden milk powder, I put ashwagandha, which is that lovely adaptogen. It's not a great taste, so there's not a lot in there, but it's a good dose for evening. And I put a little coconut sugar, so that I don't necessarily usually add honey to it unless I want a really sweet treat. So I'm going to actually have this pretty soon. You know what? I think that's even heated up enough. And so I will say my farewells. And if you have any questions, and if you want this recipe, you can, I'll get it on the website, and you can try it out at home on your own. So, sweet dreams.